State regime media known as Fox is in total panic mode, and they are showing how frightened they are on air as Donald Trump's approval is collapsing. As Donald Trump's approval is in the mid-30s, what is state regime media Fox talking about? Well, earlier this week, they ginned up a fake controversy and then got mad at the fake controversy, something over the actress Sydney Sweeney wearing jeans, and they said liberals are mad that she's saying that she looks good in jeans. Like, no liberal leaders or no liberals of any significance are out there saying Sydney Sweeney is a major issue. What the hell are you talking about? And last night, what were the main things being talked about on Fox? Was it Donald Trump covering up for Epstein? Was it Donald Trump saying that he'll let Putin dictate the terms of secondary sanctions? Was it Donald Trump saying that he doesn't care if Zelensky's at the meeting with him and Putin? Just going to be a meeting with him and Putin. Does Fox News care that Donald Trump said that he received a Purple Heart and in many ways he earned it, like the soldiers who were there who were either wounded severely or there posthumously who died in service of our country? Is that what Fox was talking about? No. They were talking about libs can't handle dancing deltas. Apparently, the new thing being pushed by Fox is that liberals are really mad, everybody, that sororities are dancing. That's what really is impacting liberals, everybody. So now Fox is going to mock the fake liberal leaders that they've made up who are mad at dancing sororities. What are y'all even talking about? And then there's this story from Fox last night. Fox is mad that there are something called the Gay Games in Denver that has arts and crafts, singing and cultural moments and togetherness, and that this shows, shows how bad the liberals are because they're arts and crafts and togetherness of gay people. Let's make that the top story. There's actually a name for this. It's called nutpicking. It's a strategy used by Fox. And a former right-wing journalist named Matthew Sheffield, he did a whole post thread, very smart post thread, exposing what's called nutpicking. And it basically means Fox tries to pick who they think will be viewed as like nuts, like nutcases or whatever, and then says, look, here's what liberals are doing, and that's bad, and we're against that behavior, when really it's not a controversy, and they do that to distract from Donald Trump's fascism and what's really taking place in the implementation of Project 2025. So one of the things that Matthew Sheffield posted, it was a New York Times expose on this, right-wing extremists like libs of TikTok and Charlie Kirk totally concocted a Sydney Sweeney outrage story. The supposed left-wing outrage at Sweeney, it never happened. Republicans made it up and then got angry at the straw man or woman that they made up. Republicans are inventing people or concepts to rage against for decades. Ken Bensinger, great reporter over at New York Times, and Stuart Thompson reported that the actual numbers show that almost no one was criticizing Sydney Sweeney for her American Eagle ad, but libs of TikTok and other right-wing media decided to pretend that lefties were angry at it, and a story was a nothing burger is what they were talking about on Fox the whole time. As Matthew Sheffield says, this tactic is called nutpicking. It's a go-to strategy for right-wing media. I know, he says, because he was in it for 15 years, highlighting random people as supposed representatives of evilness or stupidity is the bit. Jesse Waters built his career on ridiculing bikini-clad women. Sheffield goes, I finally got tired of nutpicking once I realized there were plenty of idiots across the political spectrum. But when I look closer, I realized that Dems ignored their dummies. Republicans voted them into their highest office. The same thing is true regarding supposed cancel culture. The actual facts show that Republicans are far more intolerant of free speech. And this whole concept of phantom nutpicking that we see Fox do, it accelerates as Donald Trump's approval collapses. That's why you see the stories. Liberals can't handle the dancing sorority women or girls. What are you talking about? It's not even an issue. Here's the one on Fox 2. They're outraged about the gay games tonight, complaining that they don't really have real sports competitions. It's arts and crafts and singing and culture and togetherness. That's so bad, says Fox. Rah, we're angry. I don't know. Maybe you should be angry at the fact that Donald Trump is covering up for an actual pedo ring. Here, play this clip.
It was hard for me to actually find the competition, the sport. I thought perhaps it would be sports categories, but really what this is a giant pride festival. It's a lot of arts and crafts, singing, cultural moments. It's dancing. It's togetherness. It's for LGBTQIA+. I'm not sure by the time we get to 2030, there might be a few other letters added to that. I'm not entirely sure. But again, this is the gay community, the radical part of the gay community that doesn't want to be equal, that wants to be special. Look at me, look at me. We need our own separate things. We need our own separate areas. So that's what this is really about. And Denver is vying for this, by the way. It's not a given. They are campaigning to be the chosen city.
You see the tactic there? So then Jesse Waters goes on, and part of what they're doing here to try to normalize fascism is they try to launder it through sarcasm. They try to launder it through, it's not funny, but yeah, I didn't really mean that. I didn't really mean that. Here he goes attacking Canada again, and he talks about we'll take Canada through peaceful invasions. We're going to gerrymander. We'll take over Canada if we need to. Here, listen to what he says. Here, play this clip.
Trump's tired of getting bullied. Trump's not going to let this slide anymore. If he needs to gerrymander, he's going to gerrymander. And if they want to add stars to the flag, okay, we'll just take Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. And it doesn't have to be aggressively. We can take it peacefully. It will be a mostly peaceful invasion. And those are 3 states. That means 6 Republican senators. See what we did there?
Don't forget Greenland. Exactly.
Greenland. Dana said.
I'm all for it now.
16
I am totally for it now.
Then you have Jeanine Pirro, who's the Washington, D.C. Maine federal prosecutor. And here she goes on Fox and whines about how difficult her job is. Here, play this clip.
I thought you do that one. Now, Judge, tell the difference between being a host on Fox and working in a government office. Having worked in government offices myself, tell me the experience. Explain.
First of all, I miss Fox. I love everybody. Government is hard. Government is all about accountability, responsibility. I work 12 hours at least every day. You're never not working. You have to pay for water. The government, they waste, let me tell you, they waste millions. I'm looking at contracts. I want to indict people for contracts that the U.S. government has given out voluntarily.
The worst waste of money, and then they get you on little things.
They don't care. And then they say to my prosecutors, the AUSAs, you got to join the water club for $7 a month to drink good water.
So
I mean,
you can't get a glass of water in your office?
No, they have to pay for it. They have to join the water club. All right? It's ridiculous. My job, I have great prosecutors in my office. I'm very proud of them.
And they want to make a difference, do they not?
They do.
Yeah.
I have national security prosecutors. I have civil prosecutors. We do everything from civil cases, terrorism, to local crime. It's a huge office.
But Judge,
then they bring on Chris Wright, the Secretary of Energy. And here he claims that climate change is actually great for the environment. He's like, climate change is amazing. It has made everything much more green. We love climate change. I'm going to change all the reports that say climate change is harmful, and I'm going to say it's good. These are crazy headlines to say climate change is bad. That's what they're going with. And this is part of a brainwashing campaign on their audience to distract, deflect, and ultimately cripple and harm our country. Here, play this clip.
The Department of Energy, meanwhile, released its climate report assessing the impact of greenhouse gas emissions. It includes carbon dioxide-induced warming may be less damaging than previously believed, which many people expected. The DOE is receiving pushback, however, from the New York Times. The Times writes that the Energy Department is attacking climate science in contentious report. Secretary, your reaction?
Oh, what a crazy headline. But I guess that's par for the course for the New York Times.
In fact, we're doing the exact opposite. We're exposing the American people and the broader scientific community to what actually is in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change reports, not the hyperbolic summaries for policymakers or media headlines that claim all sorts of crazy stuff. This is what we actually know. How often do you hear that the planet's getting greener because there's more carbon dioxide in the air that contributes to increased crop productivity and greater wilderness, greener wilderness? How often you hear that deaths from extreme weather have been falling like a stone for a century, and that insured losses from extreme weather events have been on a multi-decadal decline? Those are just facts. Instead, we're scaring kids in school. We're promoting an alarmist view of climate change that's simply contrary to the facts. It's a real physical phenomenon that we want to talk about honestly and openly, but we got to get past the scaremonger campaign that you can't do this because of climate change, or the government's going to stop your plans here to fight climate change. Just nonsense.
Well, that is just incredible. You are so right.
Then you bring in Newt Gingrich, who says that Donald Trump is like better than George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Here, play this clip.
Tim Cook is over. Big announcement. They said it couldn't be done. Apple would never bring jobs back to America. And it looks like it's happening. Are we getting our hopes up too quickly, though? Is this kind of like, like the hokey doke?
Look, no, I think what's changing everything is that you have this rock standing in the middle of history called Donald J. Trump. And he's saying, you want to do it my way or you want to be crushed? I prefer you do it my way, but, if you have to be crushed, it's okay. And so rational people like Tim Cook are going, oh, gee, do I want to do it the way the president wants, or would I like to be crushed? And they go, I've always wanted to be part of the team. And you're seeing this happen not just in the United States, but you're seeing it happen all around the world. I mean, the Saudis show up and say, could we buy $400 billion of Boeing airplanes? And by the way, could we also invest $400 billion in the United States to create new jobs? And Trump graciously says, that'd be fine. I'm so grateful. And then he goes to the next city and the next country, and they say the same thing. I mean, this is the most, I think he's really now moving, if he can sustain this, he's moving into a league that other than Washington and Lincoln, nobody has gotten the level of energy, drive, effectiveness that we're seeing with Trump.
I mean, once he hears Newt Gingrich, put him on that level with Washington and Lincoln, I mean, I don't think we could ever recover from that.
You bring on propagandists like Stephen Miller who say, actually, it's the Democrats who gerrymander worse. Here, play this clip.
The Democrats have gerrymandered this country beyond recognition. Republicans won in the biggest blue states, about 40% of the vote in the last election. States like California and New York, according to the official tally, but only got 20% of the votes. I'm talking about the House Republicans here.
You've got former Congress member Chaffetz who say the Democrats don't understand the separation of powers. Donald Trump understands the separation. Democrats don't respect the Constitution. I mean, first off, the Trump regime was literally deleting portions of the Constitution, but he's ripping it apart on a day-to-day action, not respecting any of the separation of powers. But they project nutpicking, projection and confession, just dystopian, changing reports. Yes means no, up means down. The 1984 tactics you read about in 84, Orwell. Here, play this clip of Chaffetz. Let's play it.
3 Democratic representatives, Espelon, Velasquez, Goldman, blocked from entering an ICE detention center in Brooklyn. They claim they were locked in a certain area. But the truth is they need 7 days notice. They're trying to go around the rules, and then they're shocked and outraged when they're blocked out. Jason, what do you think?
They just don't fundamentally understand the Constitution. We have in this country a separation of powers. The executive branch can't just blow into their offices and go talk to their staff and go shuffle through their papers. And vice versa is true. They just don't understand the Constitution. If they want to tour the facility, I'm sure Homeland Security would be glad to give them one, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. This is merely a political stunt, yet again, from these people who just want an Instagram click and not really interested in solving any problems.
Then they reinvent history. You have Stephen Miller said, the economy under Biden was on its deathbed. Things were horrible. No, it wasn't. The Wall Street Journal said America's economy was the envy of the world. It was. It was booming. If Donald Trump just did nothing, he could have taken credit for a successful economy. Instead, Donald Trump is crashing it. Here, play this clip.
The economy was on its deathbed when President Trump came into the Oval Office. Joe Biden and the Democrats and whoever was running the White House, be it the Autopen or anyone else, had suffocated the life out of the American economy.
And they bring on Jim Jordan on Sean Hannity, who starts talking about indictments of former President Obama and his administration. Jim Jordan runs the Judiciary Committee. He's not even a licensed lawyer. Here, play this clip.
Do you believe that with this grand jury, and I only got about 20 seconds, do you believe with this grand jury there will be indictments?
Relative to what Tulsi's brought forward?
Yes.
On the Russia case, I think John Brennan is everything I can see. This guy changed the intelligence community assessment. It was at his prompting and Clapper and these guys. So I do think there's something there. And God bless Tulsi, again, showing leadership, bringing this information forward and then forwarding it on to referring it to the Justice Department. So we'll see what Pam and Todd and the team there at the Justice Department do. But I do think there's problems, particularly with Mr. Brennan.
Brennan, what about Clapper and Comey? We'll find out. Jim Jordan, thank you.
Yeah, yep, you bet, John, thanks.
Yeah. And then they bring on Charlie Kirk, one of their chief propagandists, and he goes, two can play at this game. The Democrats have been taking advantage of us for far too long. Thus, we will gerrymander the entire country, and we will eliminate all Democratic seats. Here, play this clip.
And they're talking about adding stars to the flag and adding Puerto Rico. Well, guess what? Two can play at this game. President Donald Trump announcing the new census. What that would do is that would also potentially subtract 20 electoral votes from Democrats in the Electoral College system, as congressional seat appropriation is directly correlated with electoral college totals. Deeper than this, though, this is a new mentality. This is not a Republican Party that is just playing for neutrality or trying to protect broken norms. Instead, we are playing to win. We know we are up against a vicious opposition, one that might play a good game on television every so often or saying that they're working for the American people, but deep down, we know what they are. We know what they represent, and President Donald Trump and this movement, and you see it across the country with the resolute attitude in Texas, is that we are now going to fight fire with fire. We're going to play offense, and we're finally going to be back in the director and the driver's seat to save this country.
I mean, and just so you see the chummy relationship between Fox and like the Secretary of Defense, a former Fox host. Here you have Will Cain, speaking to Secretary of Defense Hegseth, the former Fox host. Hegseth had Cain's job. Watch this. Let's play it.
Thanks for teaching me what a knife hand is. It's a great way to make a point. I've got to work on that. People say I do weird things with my hands. Now I have something new to do. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's not the first thing I've taught you. We know that. Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Watch this again. Play it.
We're going to do the complex stuff really well, Will. We're at the 200-day mark. You know, in the last 100 days, we did Operation Midnight Hammer with precision. That's complex stuff that only the U.S. military can do. But we're also going to do the basic stuff well, Will. If you start soft, you end soft. If you aren't strong from the beginning, you won't finish the fight properly. It starts at basic training. It starts at our military academies. We are going back to basics. Drill sergeants will be drill sergeants with knife hands who maintain good order and discipline and train up great recruits who will make great formations, just like we need military officers with that same rigorous discipline and background. So we're going back to basics, and it's bearing fruit.
I'm not sure what a knife hand is. Is that what you're doing right now on television?
Boom.
Giving me the knife hand? I'm very familiar with the knife hand points being made by the secretary.
And then finally, here you have Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, saying that now that we basically destroyed the economy, now that the Fed lowered economic GDP projections, interest rates should go down. Mission accomplished. We screwed the economy. Now interest rates go down. Here, play this clip.
Why do you think the Fed has chosen its path?
Look, I think that a couple of reasons, but I think a big part of it was somewhat a lack of logic, because on one side they were saying, okay, we need to wait risk management. We need to see if we are going to see inflation from the tariffs. And again, it would not have been inflation. A one-time price adjustment is just like, does your driver's license cost more this year? Then on the other side, they lowered their economic projections for the year. So traditionally, when economic projections go down, interest rates go down. So now the market is pricing in a substantial probability of rate cuts over the coming months. And I would expect that the Fed will be following the market.
There you have it, folks. That's the tactic. Nutpicking, projection, confession, alteration of history. You see it right there. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.